So, Jeanille, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to come in and speak with me. I want you to start by telling me a bit about your journey. I mean, you're living every broadcaster's dream. You get to travel,
Yeah.
experience different cultures and stuff like that. So, what has been the highlight of your journey so far?
Wow. I've had so many. First of all, thank you for having me,
Most
Dion.
welcome.
Thanks for reaching out. I don't do interviews very often where I'm on the other side.
Okay.
Not deliberate, well, maybe sometimes deliberate, but it's always a pleasure to sit with another sister and just talk about our dreams
thank
and our
you.
careers and
Yeah.
our goals. There have been very interesting highlights throughout my career. My actual media career started right here.
TTT.
Yeah, well, no, 98.9,
Okay.
Sharon Pitt,
Yeah.
O'Brien Haynes had given me the opportunity to intern with Sharon Pitt to
Okay.
learn broadcasting. And so that was an amazing experience because it opened me up to the possibility of media. And then TV6 came calling with an opportunity to host a teen show called Network that highlighted youth, their achievements, their accomplishments, young people doing amazing things. So the 15-year-old triathlete champion and the 17-year-old engineer on the rig,
Sweet.
off the coast of the Gulf of wherever, Paria, And I refer to that because that has been a highlight. That has been a major highlight in my career because that's where I started. That's where I first experienced the opportunity of, thinking about something and then having it come to life, having it manifest. There were so many people at the time who believed in me. You heard me mention a couple of names already. Simon Batiste was someone who believed in me. Now he has, his projects, Decibel, entertainment management, et cetera, et cetera. And I say that because back in the day, as an 18-year-old, fresh out of school, not sure if I really wanted to do law or if I really wanted to study business, these individuals gave me an opportunity to pursue media. They put that idea in my head. I always loved media. I always loved watching TV. I love to read. I love culture. I grew up with Encyclopedia Britannica, National Geographic magazines everywhere in the home, So when I had the chance to use my education and my knowledge and my interests in this format, I was sold, as I'm sure you know. So,
Yes.
For me, that's been a major highlight because nowadays I see so many young people that want to get into the industry and they don't know how. And there's so many tools available that show you how, that can connect you. Can you imagine if we had the internet
Yeah.
at our disposal when we were 15? My goodness. So at the time, I was able to create and find and pursue and take advantage of opportunities when they were a lot more difficult to come by. So I always, rock back to my roots. I always remember that experience because I still share it to others who nowadays seem lost and confused, not sure how to get into the industry. And I tell them, listen, if you want something, think about it, go after it. When I started doing TV and radio here, I really started taking a career in TV and radio and broadcast media seriously.
Okay.
So I started to look at, okay, who can I relate to that's on TV? And cable had already, entered the region at that time. So it was all about America's Top 10. It was all about MTV, BET, CNN, Style with Elsa Clench. And I used to watch all of these programs, all of these documentaries. I was fascinated by MTV and BET because they created content and information and archived culture through music and entertainment, which again, if those of you who know when it was two channels, right? 2 and 13, 9 and 14, you didn't really see culture and music documented in that way. We had, we had the Scouting for Talent, we had Auntie Hazel, Talvin Under,
Yeah.
we had Best Village, which I loved. I thought I was a dancer too, but we didn't really see our culture and our content archived and documented in that way. Pop culture, popular culture. So, the minute I saw Rachel Stewart, on the screen in a bikini on a beach, doing interviews, and tossing to the videos and doing it just as good as, sometimes even with more flair and flavor than some of the international hosts that I was seeing, I was like, right, okay. Now I have kind of an idea of how I can fit in, where I can go, what I can do with this. And so I always had an image in my mind of being an international broadcaster, an international journalist. And I decided after the experience I had here to go back to school, study communications. And that was another, again, highlight because education abroad being in a classroom full of, being the only Caribbean person, being the only Black person, being the only woman, there were so many layers to my uniqueness. I didn't feel isolated. I stayed with a feeling of uniqueness. It was interesting to see how they perceived us in the media landscape. They really did not perceive the Caribbean at all with our own voice. They had their perceptions of us. So many times in several of my broadcast classes at Ryerson in Toronto, I would be in these deep conversations with my professors because we would, for example, have a radio, course. They would tell you have to say things this way and enunciate that way and write stories this way. And I'd be like, but no, in the Caribbean, we would say it this way. And we talk like this. And they were trying to get me to talk more mainstream. And I'm like, but this is my mainstream. This is my stream.
Yeah.
And I definitely studied, grammar and literature and, a lot of the things that I was learning at university year one, I had already done at O levels. So I came in with a different perspective of how to take advantage of the opportunity of education. And the education experience I had led me to a more confident positioning of, okay, yeah, I could hold my own in Canada, in LA, because I spent some time in LA as well at Santa Monica College there. And when I came back to Trinidad to work in broadcast, it was seamless. I was in a flow. So I had certain educational, experiences. I had certain real experiences, working here in Trinidad in the field. And now I was able to merge those two experiences. And I was already deep into culture and cultural activities. So
what are the challenges though that you would have encountered on your journey? Was it difficult for them to perceive you as more than just another pretty face?
At times. When I got a call to audition as the first Caribbean VJ, media personality for MTV, as much as that was an amazing opportunity, it's a little bit intimidating because I'm coming from a place where we have so much going on culturally, musically, we have so much roots. How do you take that with you? How do you express that to where it's perceived honestly? It's perceived in its truest form, where they already have a preconceived notion of yaman, Rastaman on the beach, smoking a spliff under a coconut tree. That's like their idea, or just the beach in general. So when you start talking about soca and chutney and rapso and compa and zouk and bachata, they're like, I thought it was just reggae.
Yeah.
And yeah, calypso, hot. So when you start calling artist names, it took months for them to say Marshall. It was Michelle, Michael. No, it's Marshall. Like those little nuances, those details weighed in heavily because it meant that, wow, so now I have to create bridges. I have to create linkages. I have to be patient in knowing that others don't get the culture, don't understand it, but they want to.
Okay.
So for me, the challenge was overcoming that intimidating feeling of, oh God, how are they going to understand? How are they going to know? What do I say? What do I not say? And once I got in the space and the room where the casting directors were and where the producers were and where all these people are there, like, say something, talk, say how are you to say, say what you say, how you say it. And I'm like, well, how you want me to say it? So everything that came out of my mouth was just fascinating to them. So that initial fear of how are they going to get me? How are they going to get this? The whole Caribbean is coming behind me. How do I disseminate and level, but still represent and keep it intense so that they understand the urgency of representing authentic Caribbean culture. And from the moment, they allowed me that chance to speak and express myself, and they realized it was more than just cute. It was more than just, oh God, she's nice or she's pretty. They realized there was a lot of
substance behind it.
There was substance, there was content, and they wanted in on that, and they wanted to learn more, because a lot of persons would say, I can't believe the Caribbean is right there and I've never been. Or they would tell me reggae songs that they liked, or tell me, quote Bob Marley songs to me, or yo, back in the day, when a Super Cat tune came on. And a lot of second and third generation Caribbean people as well go through that, where they know the culture is part of them, but they've not been here, or they at the time didn't have many platforms that exposed them to the culture. There was no Facebook.
Okay.
So
you're a well-known advocate for Caribbean culture, but oftentimes it's the case where people on the outside tend to show more appreciation and love for what we have or what we at home here sometimes take for granted. How do we go about getting people to really appreciate the culture and accept it for what it is?
Well, we have to appreciate it first ourselves. You know, a lot of people talk about culture and say they love their culture, but do they really appreciate it? Do they support the curation of it? Do they visit art galleries? Do they visit mass camps? Do they support live performance events? You know, does it always have to be a big 3,000, people fete for you to enjoy the culture? Could you go to a lounge, 50 people there, and watch Cass perform same way? You know, could you support a new up-and-coming talent that has no exposure, has no experience, but just has that raw, ability? Do you support local designers? So a lot of people, I hear them talking, and the internet now gives people a chance to sort of have a sneak peek into what people are thinking about and what they're about. And a lot of times you're still seeing the posturing and positioning against foreign brands, foreign products, foreign entities, international stars. We have so much in the Caribbean that is local, that is amazing, sometimes even at a higher standard of substance than what's coming at us in the cereal boxes on cable channels. A lot of times I speak to people here, so I don't really watch TV. But they have all these local channels, yeah, but you have to be a part of the change you want to see.
Yeah.
So how much it takes to get in this position, to sit in this chair, to have this gear, the resources, the persons behind the scenes behind you. It takes a lot to get to that place. So when I hear persons bash it or knock it or have issues with it, I'm like, but have you ever tried being in that media industry? Have you ever tried to make it? Have you pursued all options? Do you appreciate that there are people out there that still believe we need to document, curate, and archive ourselves because we appreciate who we are? So I would say, again, back to the root, back to the source. To appreciate culture, you have to really appreciate it, and you have to find simple ways to incorporate it into your daily life, whether it's the food you eat, the local products you might buy in the supermarket, support the local vendor that might be right next to the Masi. You know what I mean? Support, again, I can't say it enough, support local talent. Artists put themselves out there. Whether they think they're going to make it or not, they put themselves out there because they have a passion and a desire to showcase culture and talent through their vessel, which is their body, their mind, their spirit, their voice, their creativity, So when I hear, again, persons knocking artists, knocking talent, do you know what it took to even record a track? To get up on a stage, nervous as you may be, and perform and be up for that scrutiny?
Crazy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, it's support. It's about real, solid, true internal appreciation and genuine, sincere support.
I interviewed Carl Jacobs recently, and like many others, he is a staunch advocate for the inclusion of culture courses in our school curriculum. Is this something that you could endorse?
Absolutely, 200%. I have a media production company called Nexus Networks. I've set a business in the Eastern Caribbean because I see the potential for development in the media and entertainment industry in the Eastern Caribbean. I see where tourism is now opening up opportunities and doors for media. The internet is also doing that. The telecoms providers are now getting into the TV game, right? And one of the first mandates I had when I set up that company was to train young talent, to give that 18-year-old girl, that 17-year-old boy, the person that I was at that age, give them a chance to genuinely learn skill sets, how to think, how to manage, how to strategize your career in media. So we have 4 young men that we're training in post-production. I have 2 young women I'm training in presentation and hosting. One's now hosting the morning show in St. Lucia. So proud of her. We have 3 young men that are now coming up in the graphic design area. We have 2 young men that are one of our best success stories because they were afraid to hold the camera at first. It was intimidating to them. Now they're breaking down gear, setting it up, going off and doing their own work because we're empowering them with equipment, we're empowering them with training. I'm very hands-on with my work and with my training so people can see, look, this is how you script it out. This is how you plan. this is how, so that they get a sense of what is really involved. And I always make sure that the content that we're creating is local. It's either locally produced or produced with local crew or featuring local content. But there's always that strength that comes through that this is something Caribbean and this is something homegrown.
Okay, any plans to have something like that here?
I would love to. I would love to. Trinidad and Tobago, for me, is the foundation of my career. It's also the foundation of my being. A lot of who I am and a lot of what I enjoy and pursue and the opportunities that have come to me because of Trinidad and Tobago, because of the identity of who we are and what we are. And I mean, my goal really is to, and I'll put it out there, I really would like to set up, schools of communications, programs of media and broadcast study. Because again, if we don't keep passing that flame, if we don't keep sharing our knowledge and our experiences and being the one to step up and say, well, this is how we could do it. I always say you could be bossy, you could tell people what to do all day long, but showing them what to do, that leadership, that is where the real value and the growth and the sustainability lies.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on the growth of or the evolution of local music, soca music?
Use the best word, one of my favorite words, evolution. I love the way Trinidad and Tobago's music is evolving. Like a relationship. It's like, we're going through different phases. I love that people are now questioning more the roots of our music and the direction of it and what are the DJs doing versus what are the artists doing and what are the musicians doing. Because that contrast, that questioning, asking the questions and challenging ourselves and challenging our artists and our producers to do different things or to open up to different markets, that's necessary. You can't go up if you're not down, right? You have to come from somewhere and rise up. You have to find situations and elements that will allow you to know what you don't want, so know, okay, I like this sound better. Or, I spent the weekend for Trinidad and Tobago Fashion Week working with the Designers United Stores team and Vast Lounge and Vast Productions to bring fashion to the forefront. And I brought in a dear friend of mine, Angela Hunt, to lend her expertise as an artist, as a stylist, and as a cultural icon, and as a woman, and spending time with her this weekend within that realm was amazing because we saw where private entities came forward to support private and public entities came forward to support, a public celebration, again, of our culture, of our fashion, of who we are. And the music was front and center with that representation. Hearing Angela Hunt's new music, that's fire, that is a Trini woman now stepping out into a whole other genre of music that when you hear it, or when you see it and experience it, you're going to say, yeah, Trinidad and Tobago moving up with music. To go to Santi Manite Juve with Bungie and Faye, Think and Dutty, and they're pumping out their soca, but with the little EDM or with the little flavors in it. I love that because I know Ian and Faye from back in the day when it was just ding, 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 ding. So now you're hearing and you're seeing the music evolving and you're seeing people wanting more. Angela is a prolific songwriter. She's a Grammy Award-winning songwriter. And she's from Barataria. Just because we may not all know that or appreciate that or know what to do with that doesn't mean that our music and our culture and our talent isn't evolving. It's definitely evolving. I think what we need to work on is, again, how we curate, how we promote, and how we support that evolution. And not put focus on one genre, one person, put pressure on one festival to shoulder, the growth and the sustainability of it. There should be carnivals or events that happen carnival style. It should be happening all throughout the year. That's mixing and merging our genres, that's opening people up to a jazz soca vibe, or a reggae blues vibe, or EDM, rap soul vibe. We can mix and mingle and blend and as one cook up, and then we will experience the evolution. I look at it from a horizon vision. I see where it's going because I can also see where it came from.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I like to look at things and just kind of assess and think, all right, I'm here now, but in my mind, I could see already on the horizon what's coming. So when I hear, certain comments and certain stories and write-ups and complaints, I'm like, yeah, but did you see what's coming down? You see what's coming down the horizon? You see what's coming on the lane, the tunnel,
Yeah, some people, though, they're not very far-sighted. They don't
Right, but that's where persons like us come in and show them the vision. Television. You know, we have to show them the vision and not tell lies on the television. You know, we have to show them the vision, and we have to broadcast who we are and what we are naturally, so that there's an organic emotional connection happening between the content and the evolution of our culture and us and who we are.
All right. Switching gears a little bit just before we prepare to wrap up. Tourism as a tool for diversification of the economy. There has been chatter surrounding that for quite a while, but so far not much action has been taken place. Based on your travels, do you think that we here in Trinidad and Tobago have the tools to actually pursue tourism as a tool for diversification? Sorry.
Absolutely. We more than have the tools. We have the spirit. You know, we have the energy for it. One thing that stands out no matter which island I go to, whether it's Cayman, Bahamas, Bermuda, USVI, Antigua, Curacao, Haiti, the one thing that always stands out wherever I go, gosh, you have that vibe, eh? That Trini, that spirit. You know, they don't know what it is. Even if I'm in a country where they don't speak English, even if it's bare patois they're throwing at me, I can still hear and pick up that they like the vibe. And Trinidad, Carnival, pretty girls, you know, and that's not a beach. That's not a multi-million-dollar resort. That's not even a tour taking you anywhere. That's the energy of who we are. That's our spirit. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. That's our spirit. And if we build with that, using that as our foundation, okay, when you go to Times Square and you see all those lights and those tall buildings and those skyscrapers, you don't feel spirit. You see industry.
Yeah.
You see things, opportunities. Somebody thought about all this and it's manifested years and years later. But when you come to Trinidad and you feel spirit, that's very different. You can build a world with that. You know?
Of all the places you've traveled to, what's your favorite? Which is your favorite?
God, I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica because it's complex, it's big, it's small, it's vibesy. It's very real, very raw. It's taking an amazing turn for the better right now with its economy and its development and its growth. A little more open-minded, a little more progressive. They stand up for their own. They stand up for their own. They appreciate their culture. They support their talent. Okay. You know, and they have also figured out tourism like nobody's business. Jamaica alone single-handedly has created a Caribbean brand. So that when you're out there, even if you've seen the Jamaican flag flying, you feel Caribbean. And that is what I would love to see Trinidad and Tobago, you know, rise up to that level. Through our spirit, our food, our culture. You know, you don't need a beach to enjoy the sun. You know, although
how do we do that?
Well, first of all, I'll give you an example. Fix Maracas Beach. You see what I'm saying? Straight. It's not how do we do it. Let's do it. Let's be doers and not just talkers. We're already thinkers. So we already have a head start because we think differently than other Caribbean people. We have that hustler, entrepreneur, go-getter. We're fabulous. We believe in our, you know, in our joie de vivre. We have that in spades. But now let's transform that into action. Action that is tangible, that we all benefit from. You know, you have an amazing array of culinary delights at Maracas Beach. Put them somewhere nice. Make sure the water running. Make sure the bathrooms are clean. So when visitors come, when I bring people in, they're not stumbling around the car park looking for water to wash their feet. Or they're not, you know, fighting up with beach chairs and in a long line when in the rain and they're under a tent. You know, create facilities. Because when I go to St. Martin, and when I go to St. Lucia, and Antigua and those other islands, there are facilities, beachfront facilities, nature trails with facilities. You go to Lottery Farm in St. Martin on the French side, my God, I'm like, oh, why don't they have something like this in Paria? Or, you know, why isn't there a topless tourist company that's putting you in a little convertible, you know, mini coupe and taking you to Caroni? And these are all things that we can do easily. We can build. We have the resources to build and create, and we have the talent to make it all gel and come together. So,
all right. Well, thanks so much. And what's next for Empress Jeanille?
Well, I'm just wrapping up the production that we did for Trinidad and Tobago Fashion Week. Much thanks to Designers United Stores for having me in and my team. There's a big project I'm working on right now. You will hear about it soon. Girl, I'll give you the inside scoop. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted.
Fantastic.
Want to say much love going out to Vast Productions, the whole team over at Vast Lounge. There's a big project that we're collaborating on. Very excited about it. Look out for the Ghetto Youth Tour, the Life of a Ghetto Youth Tour, featuring some powerful reggae artists from Trinidad and Tobago, right, from Jamaica and from the USVI. It's going to be a One Love tour. Follow at lifeofaghettouyouttour.com. Follow at Life of a Ghetto Youth Tour on Instagram. You know the deal, promotion time. There's also another great project coming forward with Angela Hunt and the Hunted Group. Look out for that. But yeah, what's next for me? I'm just continuing to build my company, build my brand, and, you know, just keep supporting the growth and the trajectory of Caribbean content.
All right. Well, Jeanille, again, thanks so much for coming and speaking.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to have you, and hopefully this isn't the last time.
No, it's the first. It's the first.
All right. Thanks so much again, and
thank you.
Godspeed in all
yes,
your
sister,
future
and good luck.
Thank
And this
you.
is fantastic. Good
Thanks
luck.
so much.
Yeah, you have to have me back.
Most definitely.